Hey, it's Tristan from www.primaledgehealth.com here in the Andes of Ecuador, enjoying a little bit of afternoon cool mountain breeze here. And I want to talk about the ketogenic diet in relation to mental health, how lifestyle and diet, which is just one little input in your lifestyle. For some people, it can be massively important. For other people, it might not matter that much. It all depends on your individual context, your individual situation, your individual needs, where your health is at. For some individuals, diet can make a massive difference in their mental, emotional health. Now, let's talk about depression. So depression, I guess a good place to start would be comparing the symptoms of depression and the physical manifestations of depression to that of neurodegenerative diseases, which depression maybe could be considered something like that, because it acts very similar to things like epilepsy, where you're having excitotoxicity, chronic low-level excitotoxicity, and low-level inflammation in the brain, affecting the way it functions. So excitotoxicity can be created by certain neurotransmitters like glutamate. Glutamate converting into aspartate can create very excitatory states in the brain. These excitatory neurotransmitters can kind of fry out in your brain. Now GABA, which is favored in a ketogenic state, GABA is a neurotransmitter that is also created from glutamate. So instead of glutamate converting into like aspartate, in a ketogenic diet, it tends to be converted to GABA, G-A-B-A. I think that's like gamma alpha butyric acid, something like that. Could be wrong. Anyways, GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, meaning that it inhibits, it inhibits excitotoxicity. Now, inhibiting excitotoxicity can be massive importance when you have inflammation in the brain, highly excitotoxic states that will affect people that have things like epilepsy. Had an interview with Andrew Scarborough, who effectively uses a ketogenic approach as a treatment for epileptic seizures in relation to a brain tumor, which he had removed from his brain, which is in remission, has not been coming back. He's been using this approach for several years. He's actually found recently that the levels of DHA in his diet and other lifestyle factors can have just as much of an impact as maintaining ketosis on his seizure threshold. That maintaining high levels of DHA through eating a seafood-laden diet that is rich in DHA and EPA, not through taking fish oil pills, most of which are rancid, from eating it from the whole food source where it's bound in its matrix with the antioxidants, namely selenium and iodine, that protect the DHA. Selenium and iodine are also very important. Very important for detoxifying the body, removing heavy metals from the body. Everyone's afraid to eat fish. So they think, oh, it's got heavy metals in it. Well, actually, if you're eating good fish, wild-caught fish, that's got lots of DHA, iodine, and selenium, it's not really a problem. Because right there, bound up in that matrix of proteins and fats, are these compounds, iodine and selenium, which remove those heavy metals from the body. So Andrew Scarborough has found that not only increasing the DHA levels in his diet, making lifestyle changes, avoiding artificial light as much as possible, getting natural sunlight, not only the ketogenic diet affects his excitotoxicity in his brain, but also these other lifestyle factors. Now that's a separate video. I just like to bring that up all the time because a lot of people put a huge emphasis on diet, and diet can be very important. Diet is part of the environment we live in. It creates the internal environment in our body. Diet influences and drives the types of bacteria that are within our body, the balance of bacteria, which breaks down the nutrients and drives them into our cells, brings them into our body, so makes them assimilable, are affected by diet, as well as many other things. Anyways, not to go on a tangent there. This is all going back to my point that diet, namely a ketogenic diet, can be a very powerful treatment for the brain, for the emotions, and possibly for a lot of individuals as a tool for getting through hard times and for breaking through habits of depression. Now, what are some of the physical manifestations of depression other than the excitotoxicity, the burning up of neurons in the brain, which is greatly improved through the increase in Gaba, which a ketogenic diet favors. What are some of the other symptoms? Physically, just physically. Let's think about it. When you're depressed, you're usually not breathing very deeply. The breath becomes shallow. You get a state of chronic pseudo-hypoxia, hypo-oxygen, low oxygen environment in the body. This is not good. You want to have sufficient oxygen in your body. Of course, you don't want too much. A pure oxygen environment could create highly excitotoxic states as well. But shallow breathing, tension, holding on to physical tension, gritting your teeth, curling up in this defensive posture like you're hiding from a predator. It's like there's constantly something attacking you in your mind. And you feel that constantly. People feel that pressure. Making simple adjustments in diet can be a powerful tool for actually getting some space from that feeling. Now, I'm not saying that that feeling comes from diet, but it can be greatly influenced by making bad decisions in life, like eating a poor diet, not taking care of the physical vessel here, and creating chronic inflammation through eating lots of grains, lots of sugars, things that will keep your blood sugar high, cause a lot of glycosylation, cause a lot of toxicity, excitotoxicity in the body and in the brain. So these other symptoms of tension, of low oxygen environment, all these things, these can be like a two-way road also. You might find that you have a habit of not breathing very deep, and simply being mindful of your breathing deeper, can put you in a better mood. And focusing on that long term, focusing on being in your body, on not drifting off into the mind, all the crap that we listen to, the thoughts we think are ours. Simply being mindful and being in the body, making choices to accept or reject certain thoughts can be massively important for getting through hard times and getting through depression, whether that depression comes from some traumatic event or if it's just a habit, a loop that people go through because of something traumatic that happened in the past. Now, diet can be a very, very powerful tool for changing your internal as well as external environment. Mind states are maintained by habits. Habits of mind, habits of action, habits of feeling, habits of accepting thoughts, of accepting certain emotions constantly, holding on to bitterness or anger, stuff like that. These can all have massive effects on how our body and our brain and our emotions work, how we flow through life. So making changes in your diet is huge. You're changing your environment. You're changing your internal environment, changing your relationship to the environment around you, making decisions to eat foods that are nutrient dense, that are healthy, that are not going to cause physical inflammation in the body is a really great step for individuals who are depressed to take. Now, when you do start making these decisions, especially if you do like a keto style diet, you seem to get a little bit more distance from these feelings, these emotions, these thoughts. And this could be influenced by the increase in Gaba, by the need for the body to remain in a calm and collected state when it is in times of famine, which a ketogenic diet does in certain ways mimic. It mimics starvation within the body. You're not getting these blood sugar spikes and crashes like you would only be getting in spring and summer for the most part in most parts of the world, especially for like European people of European descent, people who don't typically live near the equator. We would not be used to having high carbohydrate diets year round. So when you're in a state of ketosis, your body is naturally creating more Gaba. Your brain is a little bit more protected from excitatory neurotransmitters. Gaba brings calming, soothing feelings to you. People take Gaba drugs, Gaba-based drugs like phenibut. This is a Russian drug, which is essentially just Gaba that can pass the blood-brain barrier. A lot of people use it as like a pre-workout, as a drug to treat anxiety. So you're finding a way that there's a way that you can dietarily modify your lifestyle to where you can create more GABA. This can be massively beneficial to an individual that's going through depression. Now, I've already been talking for 10 minutes. I definitely only skimmed the surface of topics and angles that one can look at this from. But I'm going to try to close up here and not ramble for too long, because I got stuff to do. But anyways, making dietary changes can be a big step in treating and managing and getting past depression. Whether that depression just comes seasonally, which happens to a lot of people, or whether it's a chronic thing you've been dealing with your whole life. We all deal with hard times. We all deal with guilt, shame, depression, fear, anxiety, all these things. Making changes in our lifestyle is a powerful tool, especially dietary changes, because most people are so emotionally, mentally connected and attached to food, and they use it as a drug. We use food a lot of times to dumb us down, to create that state of inflammation, grogginess, to where we don't have to feel, we don't have to experience some of the negative aspects of life, which are usually just signals that we have to make changes. Depression is not something that is caused by diet, but it is something that can be effectively treated through diet and lifestyle changes and interventions. Again, just broaching the surface of this is a fascinating topic. I've seen the ketogenic diet greatly influence people who have dealt with things like depression and addiction. It can be a very, very powerful tool. Of course, it's not the end all. It's not going to cure your depression. You've got to do the deep internal work. But it's one tool that can kind of give you a little bit more space in which you can deal with these things from a little bit more calm, collected place. Less inflammation in the brain equals more clarity of mind. So that's it for today. You can find more at www.primaledgehealth.com. Make sure to subscribe, share the videos with your friends if you like it. Just had some maca packed in 1 kilo bags, so it's finally going to be back on our website really soon. I'll make the announcement when it's here. Organic maca from the Peruvian Andes, like the highest quality stuff you can find. None of this watered down maltodextrin maca crap that people like to sell and say is high quality stuff. This is pure maca straight from the source. Awesome stuff. Increases oxygen levels in the blood, or at least has been believed to do that. Been used for fertility at high elevations where people and animals have had trouble breeding. It's been used to bring back fertility in animals and humans for a long time. The Bolivians and the Peruvians would probably not have survived at these high altitudes if it weren't for certain foods tied into those environments. Adaptogens like maca and even the coca leaf. Very, very interesting history there in these plants. So anyways, www.primaledgehealth.com. If you want coaching, check us out the coaching section. And yeah, got more podcasts, more episodes to come, more videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.